Ladies and gentlemen, this is internet personality Vangelus, and the Generations Legends 2-pack era kicked off an extremely long-winded return for the classic Insecticons of old. Shrapnel and Reflector paired up to debut in an official modern release. And Shrapnel and Reflector, yes. Shrapnel's bug mode is a lovely unstubby beetle shape made out of angles and murder. He looks far more like an actual beetle than the G1 original, with 6 legs actively touching the ground in mid-crawl and a touch of curvature to his laser-tipped horns. The colors are Insecticon relevant, though the purple is a little flat and the yellow is a little cold. There's not much articulation to speak of other than his horns opening and closing, but there is a 5mm port up top for his gun. This is very reminiscent of the shape of G1 Shrapnel's firearm, and if it had a coat of silver paint applied to the topmost surface, I think the illusion would have totally worked. As it is, it looks weird, and that's because... ta-da! It's a reflector! I like to think of this as one of those background expendable spare reflectors from the cartoon, captured by Shrapnel and forced to assume the role of his gun. Paint is minimal, but the idea is clear, and this guy can also become a camera! Look, see? Camera. Shrapnel's transformation's pretty impressive, feeling much more involved in the G1 toy's conversion, and engaging in some smart use of mass placement beyond what I'd expect out of a Legends price point toy. Best of all, the bug legs don't lead to a fiddly nightmare of finicky folding, a small silver lining born from their unposable status. Also, I love the way the chest shrinks down to reveal the head. It's a double-jointed joy. In robot mode, Shrapnel is almost perfect for the character, suffering only from a bunch of bug legs that can't really hide anywhere. The ones on his back are serviceable, but the ones on his arms are obnoxious. Also, the rest of his back is kinda not there. However, he does have an excellent standing silhouette, and his teeny head sculpt is packed with manic, goggle-eyed menace. The silver paint enhances the emotion of the face sculpt immensely. While he can hold his gun in this mode, as you do, the camera mode is also compatible with his palm sockets. You have to swing down Reflector's arms as a vague representation of a two-handle camera mount, and it kind of works. I guess Shrapnel's taken up wartime photography as a side hobby. Like maybe those things on the tips of his beetle antlers are also flash diffusers or something. This guy's got a little bit of slope to his stance, and I thought that was a pleasant surprise back when he came out, because he didn't look in package like he'd be able to do that. But as for the specifics of his Poseability, he's got a simple mushroom-pegged swiveling neck. A little bit crowded in there, but not too terrible to get your fingers around. Ball socket shoulders with a proper range of motion. His transformation joint here, I never really get much use out of it as a shoulder joint, but you know, you could get a little bit of backward swing if you so choose. His waist doesn't do nothing except for sometimes become unhooked and do that, which is not what I wanted to do, but his ball socket hips do exactly what I want to do, which is go outwards, forwards, and backwards and have just a little bit of wiggle. All the legs here don't impede his Poseability as much as perhaps they could have, but they are all still sitting there and may bump now and then if you're swinging his legs back. He's got ball socket knees with a pretty dang good, this is past 90-degree bend, and since they're ball socketed, they also allow for a bit of a thigh swivel. And his feet can point down, which might be of use to you in some poses, but as far as standing, not so much. So he's decently posable. He's not a standout in his size class, but he's definitely a get it all done and kind of do it right Generations Legends figure. Shrapnel is an all-boxes-ticked Transformers Legends experience, packing 2 good-looking modes and a decent bipedal Poseability in with a creative and effective transformation. He's got some extraneous dangly bits in robot mode, but for his original retail price, I can't complain too much. And the Reflector partner figure was a real surprise at the time. Assuming a passable facsimile of an Insecticon firearm and a camera that's convincingly wieldable by Shrapnel is a laudable little feat. Ain't got much to say about the robot mode. And I just hope this isn't all she wrote for the prospects of a Generations Reflector. Anyway, this has been internet personality Vangelus, and even though this review is years after the release window, there still isn't news of a Legends kickback as of this recording. It's gotta happen this decade at least, right?